Well, speaking of commercial radio, since we were talking about Aerosmith and Eddie and commercial radio, and I played the little bumper there, I have this article which kind of encapsulates something that we've talked about on the show many, many, many times over the years.
All right.
This one is called 10 Classic Rock Songs That Radio Stations Need to Stop Playing Now.
Oh, my God. Can I guess them before you even list them?
Please, go ahead.
All right, let's see. Pink Floyd, Money. I'm gonna try and come up with 5.
Okay.
Take all day. I'm gonna say Pink Floyd, Money. Van Halen, Ain't Talking About Love. Brown Eyed Girl. Does that count, or is that too?
Nah.
All right, no. Okay, Skynyrd. Sweet Home Alabama.
Yep.
Let me think here. What else do they play relentlessly? Led Zeppelin. Pick any song.
Well, you'll be surprised when I give you the listing on Led Zeppelin, what the commercial radio stations play of Zeppelin.
Are they considering Pearl Jam at this point? Or
no. These are all classic rock.
All right. I'm trying to think of. I don't know. Let's go. I'll stick with those 3 for now.
Well, you're pretty damn close.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's good call there. Piano Man by Billy Joel.
Nah.
That's a good call though.
Yeah.
Or that stupid New York Frame of Mind. Fuck you. I've never been in a New York frame of mind.
Sure.
Eat shit, you fucking New York faggots.
All right, here it goes.
All right, let's hear.
Land on a mainstream classic rock radio station anywhere in the U.S., and chances are they all sound quite a bit the same.
Right.
Sounds the same everywhere you go.
Amen.
There's a good reason for this. In many cases, playlists are determined not by an individual DJ or regional flavor, but by a programmer or a consultant.
Okay.
So especially when Clear Channel bought up all those stations back in the 90s, they centrally programmed all of the stations from their New York office.
Sure.
So basically there were no station programmers under the Clear Channel banner.
Right.
One person determined how all the rock stations under the Clear Channel banner would sound.
I think that person is that guy Oedipus, isn't it?
I don't know the answer.
Because we had that guy, he came in and evaluated us at both MMS and at 92, which makes me think he's probably the guy.
Sure.
So anyway, yeah, just a little piece of knowledge.
Plus, there's an aversion to challenging listeners, as there's a commonly held theory in radio that people will turn off things that are unfamiliar. In other words, radio would rather reinforce tastes than cultivate new ones.
Yeah.
Fred Jacobs, the man responsible for pioneering the classic rock format, explored this phenomenon in a piece called "The State of Classic Rock Is," in which he also criticized the lack of overall new music discovered on radio.
Wow. So he doesn't even like the format he built.
More or less. Radio could play a major role, albeit a different one that it used to play, in the curation and exposure of new music, he wrote, but it is so busy playing it safe, playing defense, that it has lost the sight of the unique ability to provide perspective, context, and fun to music that is new and emerging.
Dude, what do you think the number is now? And I think it's probably a lot higher than we imagine, but what do you think the number of people is now that still get in their car and turn on whatever the fuck is on the radio and listen to it?
I'm going to say 40%.
I think it's a lot higher than that.
You still think it's higher, huh?
I think it's probably still 70 to 80%.
Really?
Yep. People are so lazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're so, God forbid they have to actually figure out how to fucking push a button to Bluetooth to their car or plug in a single cable to an auxiliary port.
Sure.
They just won't do it.
So that's the first thing I do when I get in my car. I plug my iPhone into my auxiliary.
Yeah, that's the first thing I did with my iPhone when I just got this new iPhone a couple weeks ago or a month or two ago, whatever it's been. First thing I did was put the Amazon Music app on my phone and downloaded 10,000 songs.
Sure.
So that I would have everything that I would want locally. So I would never have to go to the radio. Because I don't want to listen to the radio anymore. Fuck that.
I have not listened to the radio in literally years.
Yeah, I catch a little during the week just because I'm trying to acclimate myself a touch with Pittsburgh. Really more for advertising purposes than anything else with, with the museum. But, I mean, I don't listen to it for entertainment. Fuck no. Whenever I need to be entertained, I have all these podcasts and I have, music to listen to.
Sure. Well, like today when I was working on the car, I had the, I had the auxiliary turned on the car and I was listening to the Spotify.
Yeah. Yeah. Love the Spotify.
Mm-hmm. So, I didn't listen to the radio while I was playing. I was just listening to the Spotify.
Yeah. And even, and the ironic thing, for anybody that's even remotely, tech savvy at all, if you listen to music, but you want to have the radio, whatever experience, I guess, you can do that without having to hear all the bullshit commercials too, through Spotify or through like Amazon Prime has all these pre-done playlists, and you just type in an artist, you say the Eagles or whatever, and it'll play for like 6 hours without repeating.
Sure.
Songs that are like the Eagles.
Yeah, it's relatable or similar.
Mm-hmm. And you never have to hear a stupid ass DJ. No bad DJs and no, hey, it's Bill Smith for car parts. None of that shit. It's just the tunes. Which who wants to hear the commercials?
Nobody.
Dude, let's just say for the sake of argument that tonight, right now, Michael Abatista is killed in a drunk driving accident. And because of that, we don't, the real problem is not his death, but that we lose our Spotify hookup.
Sure.
With him dying and us losing our Spotify hookup, at this point, would you pay the $10 a month to continue your Spotify?
I probably would.
Yeah. See, that's it. It's worth $10. Why is it worth, to you, why is it worth $10 a month?
Because it has everything. See, now that I've been out running every night, I listen to the Spotify. I pick an album. I call it, I kind of do the album of the night.
Okay.
Okay, tonight I'm going to listen to, just like the last one I listened to Friday night was Genesis Self-Titled from '83, the Mama album.
That's a good one there.
Listen to that.
Home by the Sea.
Yep. So I listened to that. That was my running music that night.
Okay.
But I do album of the night. I predetermine that, okay, tonight I'm going to listen to, and that's what I listen to on my 3 miles.
Sure. And that's it anymore. It's like we're willing to spend the money to not hear the bullshit. I pay, for the Amazon, for the Amazon, you get the Amazon Prime, which has a ton of albums all by itself. So you don't have to buy, the albums if you don't want to, because it has a bunch of albums, but it has all those stations as well. It's $25 a year. It doesn't cost shit.
Yeah.
And there's no commercials in that. I love it.
Yeah, that's $2 a month.
Yeah. Wow. That's a real expense.
Yeah.
$2 a month.
Yeah. For all you can listen to.
And you can store 250,000 songs if you want to. And while their computer app sucks the biggest dick ever, the phone app works fantastic. I mean, it really works nicely. So that's what I do.
Yep. All right, getting back to the article here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here. Let's see, where did I leave off here? Okay, It's so busy playing it safe, playing defense, that it's lost the sight of the unique ability to provide perspective, context, and fun to music that is new and emerging. Jacobs went on to compare radio to football prevent defense, noting that essentially how it's played the game against internet pure plays since streaming first became a new way to enjoy audio, rather than continue to play a lead role and take advantage of its ubiquitous and free position in the musical ecosphere
system. Right.
Yeah. Radio hunkered down, played it close to the musical vest, and has become less and less relevant from a musical exposure point of view every year.
Sure.
Still, just how narrow is mainstream classic rock radio these days? Mm-hmm. To set a baseline, Salon pulled up a stats for 71 radio stations monitored by Nielsen ratings that identified as classic rock.
Right.
For the week of April 4th through the 10th, both Cheap Trick and Steve Miller Band saw obvious airplay bumps for I Want You to Want Me and The Joker, respectively. No doubt because of each act's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. Yet there's clearly no correlation between the artist's popularity and airplay. The most played Beatles song, for instance, is Come Together, which landed at number 178 with 194 spins, while Elton John's most popular spun tune was Rocket Man at 139 times, which was good enough to place at number 286.
Wow.
Bruce Springsteen's most spun song, meanwhile, with a whopping 100 plays, good enough for number 399, was Glory Days. There were some odd anomalies, too. For example, Billy Squier's Lonely as the Night landed at number 73 in airplay spins for the week.
That's not an odd one. That album is 30 years old last month.
Yeah. Well, I think they're talking about the song itself.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, but the album itself from that came from, it turned 30 last month.
Sure.
So I'm sure some wise programmer
said, we're going to celebrate the 30th anniversary of this release.
Gave their afternoon drive girl something to talk about.
Sure.
Hey, look at this.
Right.
Where were you 30 years ago when Lonely as the Night came out? Let's check it out.
Yep.
Right here on the Buzz.
Exactly. Lonely as the Night landed at number 73 in airplay spins for the week and placed well above its higher charting AOR and pop crossover hits.
Ugh.
Unsurprisingly, the charts also is a sausage fest. There are only 5 women musicians in the whole top 100.
Of classic or just total?
Classic rock.
What would those be?
Heart's Ann and Nancy Wilson.
Right, okay.
Fleetwood Mac's Stevie Nicks and Christine McVie.
Right.
Joan Jett.
Yes.
Pat Benatar sneaks in at 118 with Heartbreaker.
And that horrible Chrissy Hine.
The chart also features plenty of repeat acts. That is Queen, Pink Floyd, each have 7 songs in the top 100 airplay chart.
Oh, God.
While AC/DC has 6, and Van Halen checks in with 5.
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin, Def Leppard, ZZ Top, and Rolling Stones, Tom Petty, and Journey all have 4 songs each.
Wow.
So out of the whole Zeppelin catalog, they only play 4 songs.
Oh, my God. And let me guess. All of My Love.
Black Dog.
Communication Breakdown. And Stairway. Yeah. Ugh. Boy, all the bad ones. Not bad, but just not their best.
So out of that whole Zeppelin catalog, that's all they could call is 4 songs.
Yeah, can't mix in Traveling Riverside Blues or 10 Years Gone or anything, right?
Or The Rover or anything like that.
Yeah, none of that songs, none of that stuff. Lemon Song, none of it.
No. Nope. Or The Immigrant Song.
Yeah, all good songs. An Immigrant Song is short.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd go with that. It's only, 2.5 minutes?
Yeah. All right. So anyway, in other words, just 10 acts account for nearly 50% of the most spun songs last week.
Wow.
So 10 acts account for 50% of all the classic rock music played.
Oh my God. Is U2 up in that?
No.
No.
It doesn't mention them. Let's just put it that way.
Because I hear them all the time still.
A consolidation of power and influence that doesn't exactly favor or point to playlist diversity.
Right.
An obvious first step to improve classic rock radio is to stop treating women like novelties. Oh boy, here we go with the whole misogynist, sexist.
Enough. There just weren't that many good ones in the history of fucking rock.
Yeah.
In the 70s, who was there? Joan Baez, Janis. Who else?
Carole King.
Carole King. What? Linda Ronstadt.
Mm-hmm.
Quarter Flash.
That was 80s.
Was that 80s?
Mm-hmm.
Who else that would have been from the 70s? Is there anybody else?
Not a lot of 70s groups.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, okay. All right.
A multi-step process, which means increasing the spins for artists it already plays. For example, Scandal.
Scandal?
Scandal, The Warrior.
Did they have a second hit?
Yeah, they had Goodbye to You.
Was that them?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was them.
Yeah.
Look at Steve Jackson, Susie Quattro.
Well, that's funny because they do throw her name in here.
Why? What was her song?
She was Leather on Happy Days.
Yeah, but did she have songs?
She does. I just can't tell you what it is.
I'm going to have to look on Spotify right now. Let's see. 'Cause I can't name a single Susie Quattro song.
Yeah, she's Leather Tuscadero.
Did Lee Aaron make the list?
I don't think so.
No, Lee Aaron.
The Pretenders. Jefferson Airplane.
Her biggest song is Stumbling In. Do you know that song?
I don't know it.
Let's see.
Our love is alive.
Oh, yeah, I know this.
And so we begin. Foolishly laying our hearts on the table, stumbling in.
I know that one.
I didn't realize that was Susie Quattro.
Want to hear number 2?
Sure.
It's called If You Can't Give Me Love. Do you know that one?
I don't know any of these songs.
All right, did you not know Stumbling In?
I know that one, but I had no idea that was Susie Quattro.
All right, here's her number 2. If You Can't Give Me Love. All right.
Well, I've seen you before on that discotheque floor. You were driving me out of my mind. Oh, but I could have sworn that I saw something more in your eyes.
I don't know this, do you?
I don't know it at all.
Although you were surrounded by beauty unbounded, your glances intended for me. And though I tried to
I'm waiting till the chorus.
found myself looking to see. So then you took your chances, you made your advances.
I'm not waiting till the chorus.
I
That
don't
stinks.
know that song.
I don't know that song.
Never heard of it.
And that's her second most played, and then everything else is under 1 million plays. Want to try another one?
Somebody put Crash, 48 Crash or something.
48 Crash. Is that a band or is that her?
No. Susie Quattro, Crash.
48 Crash. Let's try it. Here it is. I don't know this either. Do you know this?
No.
I don't know this song either.
I don't either, but you can definitely see where Joan Jett took some of her influences from.
Is it me or is she like the most overrated ever?
Who?
Joan Jett.
Overrated in what regard?
I mean, she's in the fucking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and she stinks. That's how.
All right, let's finish the list here.
Who's more overrated? Unless we're just popping around talking about all kinds of crazy shit.
Sure.
Who's more overrated, Joan Jett or Chrissy Hine?
I'm going to say Chrissy Hine.
I'm going to agree because I'm yet to hear a good song from them.
The Pretenders?
I hate the Pretenders.
Really? You don't like them at all?
There's not a song that they've done that I like. None of them.
Okay.
And Joan has, I don't know, 2, maybe, that I like. I Hate Myself for Loving You, and I liked I Love Rock and Roll
Sure.
when I was 10, or whatever year that was that came out. What else did she do? Anything? Love Hurts, is that her?
Yeah, she did that. She did a cover of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't. Is there any other hits?
She did. It seems like most of her hits were like covers.
Yeah. Well, here's her greatest hits, the hit list. Dirty Deeds.
Okay, cover.
Okay. Love Hurts.
Cover.
Pretty Vacant.
I don't know that one.
This might be a covers album. The Celluloid Heroes. The Tush. That's definitely a cover. Time Has Come Today. Up From the Skies. Have You Ever Seen the Rain?
Cover.
Love Me Too Tight. That's a cut. This might be a covers album. Hold on. Let me see if there's a greatest hits here somewhere. Up Your Alley. Good Mute. No, there's not. What's her top hits? Her top songs are I Hate Myself for Loving You, Dirty Deeds, Love Hurts, Have You Ever Seen the Rain? That's a cover, right?
Yeah, that's all cover. That's CCR.
Yeah. Roadrunner, I Want to Be Your Dog. That's a cover, right?
Yeah.
Love Me Two Times. That's a cover. Fun, Fun, Fun. Don't know that. Tush and Little Liar. So
She made her career off of covers.
yeah, she stinks. She's no good at all. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. My ass. No wonder that place is such a fucking bag of shit.
Right.
Garbage. All right, go ahead.
All right, Jefferson Airplane. Does that count as a female band? I mean, obviously Grace Slick played a huge part in that, but
Yeah, I mean I guess. I mean, she was the lead voice
sure.
for all the cool songs.
Right.
So I guess we'll give that one.
All right, Janis Joplin.
That's obvious.
All right, Pat Benatar.
Yeah, Pat's great.
Lita Ford. Steve.
Put her next to Joan Jett and fucking
Well, they were both in the same band.
bag of shit.
Stevie Nicks.
Love her.
While adding other women into the rotation, to name a few absent artists, The Runaways, Susie Quattro, Bonnie Raitt,
Bonnie Raitt.
Bonnie Raitt.
Okay, she had that song, Give Me Something to Talk About. That's her, right?
Yes, that was in the 90s.
What's another one that Bonnie Raitt had?
Don't know I don't know her well enough to tell you that.
Let's look and find out what her big hits were. Her big songs are, here's her top 10 on Spotify. I Can Make You Love Me. That's her number 1. I don't even know what that is. Do you?
I don't.
Something to Talk About, number 2. Angel from Montgomery. Anything?
Nope.
Nick of Time.
That I do know.
Let's hear that. You know this?
Yeah.
Let's get to some words.
Pretty soon she'll have to choose, and it tears her up inside.
I don't see you listening to that.
I didn't say I listened to it. I just know the song.
I don't know that one. Unintended Consequences of Love.
Don't know that one.
Need You Tonight. That could or couldn't be. There's no telling, but it doesn't have very many plays, so probably not. Gypsy and Me. Oh, these are all from a brand new album. So, yeah, we don't know any of those songs. That's why they're all up here. Half of her list is from her album that came out like last month.
Sure.
So, and then the 4 that aren't are Nick of Time, Angel from Montgomery, Something to Talk About, and I Can Make You Love Me. Yeah, she doesn't deserve to be played on classic rock.
Right.
Fuck off.
Next one, Joni Mitchell.
All right. I feel the earth move. Is that her? On my feet.
Melissa Etheridge.
Melissa Etheridge. She was in the 80s.
Mostly in the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Linda Ronstadt.
I like Linda.
Patti Smith.
Patti Smith, not Patti Smythe.
No, Smith.
What was her song?
She was from the 70s.
Yeah. So that's all that matters is that she was out in the 70s?
Yeah, I guess. And then Blondie.
Where's Janis Ian?
Yeah, she only had one song, didn't she?
Well, what does Patti Smith have?
17.
Yeah, what does Patti Smith have? Patti. Let me see what her songs are. Patti Smith. Her top. Because the Night, that's a cover.
Yeah.
Smells Like Teen Spirit, that's obviously a cover. What? Like 4 of her 10 are Because the Night.
And Ron Keel did a good cover of that.
He did a better cover than Patti Smith. Patti Smith, all right. See, they're naming all these bands, but nobody knows any of their songs. That's why they're not played. Is what they're trying to say is that they were held down because it's the fucking boys club?
They need to challenge the listener.
You know what? Hailstorm's not having problems getting their music heard.
Yeah, true, but they're not on classic rock either.
Not yet, but they will be.
Yeah, but this article is about classic rock.
Yeah, but the point is that none of these bands were any good.
Sure.
You know,
what this author is saying, much like this current election cycle, we just need to play them because they were women.
Yeah, because they had
not because they were any good. It's just because they were women.
I guess, because none of these are any good.
So we need to vote for Hillary Clinton because she'll be the first woman president.
Right.
Not that she'll be any good or that she's trustworthy or she can handle the job. It's just because she's a woman.
She got a tuna fish lap. She needs to be elected.
Right.
Fantastic.
With 90s and even modern bands increasingly creeping into classic rock stations, now's the time to ensure classic rock doesn't codify into anything more than male-dominated genre.
Why? Because in the 90s, nobody was listening to chicks at all. What chick bands were popular in the 90s?
Well, again, it's that whole attitude. It's because they're women, they need to be played.
But they weren't played when they were hot.
I understand. But we're living in a new age where it's politically correct to lift up that maligned, artist or woman or whatever, just because they made a contribution, they should be played.
I would argue that the ones that had success are played. You know, I'm thinking, who are the 90s rockers? Alanis Morissette. Who else?
that Natalie Merchant.
Natalie Merchant, yeah. Let's see.
And Melissa Etheridge was played a lot in the 90s.
Is that too much, really? Because she stinks. 90s rock women. I'll get a quick list here so we can see who they should be playing. The 16 best female-led rock songs of the 90s. All right, that should do it, right?
Sure.
Hole. Would you consider them to be played enough to be classic rock?
Well, she is a woman, so she should just automatically be played by default.
Can you name 2 Hole songs?
No, of course not.
Alanis obviously hits. How about the Divinals?
Yeah. What is that? I Touch Myself.
So, all right, that's one.
Yeah, that girl died, didn't she?
I don't know.
Yeah, she died recently.
Well, good riddance. I hated that song. Killing Heidi?
Killing Heidi?
Never even heard of that.
That's a band?
That's a band.
Never heard of it.
Sheryl Crow, okay.
Oh, yeah, she got plenty of play in the 90s.
It still gets play on classic rock.
Sure.
You definitely hear All I Want to Do and If It Makes You Happy.
Right.
You hear those on classic rock.
Yeah, sure.
Veruca Salt. Know the name, but I don't think they were, huge. L7, were they huge?
Hungry for Stink.
Yeah, but they weren't huge.
No.
The Breeders. Here's one that we all fucking listen to nonstop. Magic Dirt.
Who?
Exactly. Magic Dirt.
Magic Dirt.
Fuck is that? Slater Kinney.
What?
If we're down to these names as the best of the 90s, what does that say? Slater Kinney, Magic Dirt, PJ Harvey, I've heard the name. L7 makes it. Sonic Youth. No Doubt. Now, No Doubt got a lot of play. But they're not really rock.
No, they're more pop.
Yeah. The Cranberries. All
Yeah.
right. Cranberries could get some play. With, what was their song? No, I remember that song. What was it? Blah, na, na, na. Yeah. And what was the bald chick, too?
Oh, she was from the 80s.
Sinead O'Connor.
Sinead O'Connor. She was from the 80s.
How about Bikini Kill?
Don't know it.
Yeah, Bikini Kill. And then again with Hole again with Malibu. You know that big Malibu song, right?
No, I'm afraid not.
There was not very many women in the 90s that were big.
Yeah.
There just weren't. But they should get played anyway?
Yeah, because just by default of being women.
So what they're really trying to do is revive the 90s scene with music that people ignored the first time.
Pretty much.
All right, I'm following along. I like the logic.
Adding deeper album cuts or lesser remembered singles and expanding the definition of classic rock to include more bands would also help.
Mm-hmm.
But perhaps more important, mainstream classic rock radio needs to de-emphasize some of the staple songs that have been spun to death over the years.
I agree with that.
After all these songs can be streamed on demand or queued up on an MP3 these days, making their radio ubiquity maddening, if not lazy.
Yeah, but guess what, fucking dumb writer? So can the deep tracks.
Sure.
What do you think we're listening to on our iPods?
Right.
You really think that we're going to our iPods and still listening to Ain't Talking About Love? Fuck no. You go to your iPod and you listen to that fucking Live Without a Net concert.
Sure.
Or that bootleg from 1982 Van Halen or something.
Right.
You know, nobody's listening to... Do you really think people are going to their iPod and listening to, I don't know, Dreams by Van Halen?
I don't think so.
Or Pretty Woman or
they're just listening to the whole album rather than just selecting certain songs.
Yeah. I mean, if you go to Spotify to listen to Pink Floyd, you're cleaning your house or something, you throw on some Pink Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go to The Wall or do you go to like I don't know, Umba Mumba or whatever that record's called, something weird. Some old crazy one.
Right.
Which one would you go to?
Back in the Sid Barrett days.
Yeah. Which one would you go to?
I would definitely explore something, a little less popular.
Yeah, because you've heard all those songs. This is like, they're trying to make it sound like radio is a legitimate alternative to an iPod.
Right.
And it's not.
Well, what I think what they're trying to say, it's not necessarily a legitimate alternative, but make it more challenging and do something that's a little less safe.
Right.
And bring maybe some listeners back who may have abandoned it because of the repetitive nature of it.
Right. Well, I don't think it's going to happen.
All right, here are 10 classic rock songs, all of which appear on the Nielsen's Ratings Top 100 from last week, that need to be retired or at least severely de-emphasized from heavy rotation.
All right, let's see if I agree.
Number 1, Pink Floyd, Another Brick in the Wall.
Yes, retire.
Although the song's dystopian disco and authoritarian vibe meshes well with the U.S. political climate at the moment, I don't think anybody's making that parallel.
Yeah, nobody's definitely. The only one making that parallel is fucking Roger Waters because he's trying to keep getting attention.
Sure. It's overly simple theme and lyrics, not to mention grating children's choruses ensures it needs a break from heavy rotation.
Right.
Increased play for superior songs from The Wall, such as Run Like Hell, or further forward-leaning Pink Floyd songs such as Welcome to the Machine.
Why does it have to be from that record?
Well, they're saying instead of that particular song, if you're going to play something from that record, why don't you select this one or this one instead?
How about you just retire The Wall and fucking Dark Side, and you can play from pretty much anything else.
Sure.
You know, just retire those 2 albums in their entirety.
Right.
Even if it's something shitty like The Final Cut, you know, even that is still play a fucking Roger Waters Radio Chaos song.
Right.
For that, that'd be all right.
All right, number 2, Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Yeah.
What
Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The Southern rockers seem like a 2-hit wonder the way Sweet Home Alabama and Freebird are cycled in and out of a radio playlist.
Right.
However, the band has plenty of other tunes to pick from. 12 in all, making even a little more parody very easy to achieve. Increased play for Gimme 3 Steps, What's Your Name, or incorporate album cuts such as All I Can Do Is Write About It.
Okay.
Number 3 and 4,
Yeah.
Queen, We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions.
Yeah, I'm with you on those.
We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions are perfect sporting event staples, but in context with classic rock radio, sound like the equivalent of shtick.
Yeah.
A groundbreaking band such as Queen deserves better than that.
Well, let me just add to that with Queen. I don't ever need to hear Bohemian Rhapsody again either.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking sick of that dumb song too.
Sure.
Do you think that's a good song? I think that is like the worst song in their catalog.
Well, I think it's more of a novelty song. I don't think it's a good song. I think it's just because people like the quirkiness of it.
Yeah.
You know,
Scaramouche.
because, you know, they obviously parodied that in Wayne's World.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of making fun of it.
It's a garbage song though. Get rid of it. But but I will say with Queen though, don't replace with any of the last stuff that they did.
Sure.
Because that stuff was shit on a stick. That fucking Innuendo record and, oh, God, that was really bad.
Right.
And One Vision! Stop it.
Number 5, Journey, Don't Stop Believin'.
Yeah. I'm good with retiring all of Journey, too, as much as I love them.
Yeah. This song's pop culture renaissance and the saturation means it now pops up everywhere from baseball games to TV shows and no longer needs to have such a dominant place on classic rock radio.
Right. What about like Wheel in the Sky? They play that one all the time too. I could do without that one too.
If you're going to increase play for Journey, why not Stone in Love?
All right, I agree with that.
Vision Quest soundtrack, Only the Young.
No, Vision, come on. All the great songs Journey has, and you're going to go to Only the Young?
Yeah.
Song that was fucking not good enough to make Frontiers?
Sure.
Stop it.
All right. Number 6, a classic metal guy.
Okay.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, yeah. Crazy Train.
There you go. Crazy Train.
Get rid of that fucking dog shit.
Osbourne has had such a long, storied career, both with Black Sabbath and as a solo artist, but his first solo single, which addresses the paranoia wrought by the Cold War, remains his most popular. While inarguably influential and outsized attention given this song has made it sound like the nails on a chalkboard when it's aired.
Amen.
Unfortunately, since the late Randy Rhoads guitar work on it, it shouldn't be taken for granted, but it should be taken out of rotation.
Okay. What are you going to replace it with?
Shot in the Dark.
Okay.
You're going to hate this one.
Yeah.
Close My Eyes Forever with Lita. I knew you were going to hate this.
Close my eyes. No.
And not to mention perhaps any Sabbath song that's not War Pigs or Iron Man or Paranoid.
No. Ozzy had a lot of good songs in the beginning. Flying High Again.
Yeah, Over the Mountain.
Over the Mountain.
Can't Kill Rock and Roll.
Yeah, or even like Bark at the Moon. You know, that was all right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a clone of Crazy Train, but it'll work.
All right. Coming in at number 7.
Wait a minute. Mr. Scary, yeah, play more Soul Sucker.
Yeah. Not. No. Number 7, Van Halen.
Everything.
You Really Got Me.
Yeah, come on.
It's frustrating that after Panama, the Van Halen song that received the most airplay in the past week and is a band's Kinks cover. Mm-hmm. Sure, it's the quartet's first widely known single, but the band's early albums possess a myriad of songs that are simply better representations of what makes Van Halen great. And the mighty Eruption, which often precedes You Really Got Me on the radio, receives only 185 spins, so it's not as though the Kinks cover is aired as an excuse to highlight Eddie Van Halen's soloing skills.
Yeah, because he needs that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Coming in at number 8, Acdc Tnt.
TNT?
Yeah.
I would have thought You Shook Me All Night Long, but okay.
The Aussie hard rockers are deservedly all over the airplay chart, but the popularity of this 1976 tune is a head-scratcher since it's not nearly as clever or as anthemic as other AC/DC songs. So what should you play bump up plays for? Beloved, but still underrated tunes such as A Whole Lot of Rosie? For those about to rock? Or relatively modern-era AC/DC tunes such as 1986, Who Made Who?
About Rock and Roll Train. Let's play ball.
Coming in at number 9, the Eagles.
Okay.
Do you know what song?
Hotel.
Yeah, of course.
Or Hotel California.
One of the other weird quirks of the airplay list is how few Eagles songs rate in the Nielsen ratings. There's Hotel California and Life in the Fast Lane, and then nothing until Already Gone.
Really? Wow.
That's what it says.
Wow.
Sure, the Eagles' music is decidedly mellower than most of the radio these days, but the pinpoint harmonies and Laurel Canyon breeze of the band's hits are nice antidotes to the aggression.
Yeah, the aggressions.
Yeah. Need to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
We're going to slow it down, relax, kick back a little bit.
Hey, it's Friday afternoon. You know what we got going on here at K-Rock? It's that peaceful, easy feeling. It's the Eagles right here, 92.3
Right.
K-Rock.
Sure.
Ugh.
Could you imagine doing that day in and day out?
Hey, listen to that. That was Van Halen with You Really Got Me, and they really got me listening. And guess what? Van Halen might be working on a new tour. Get ready for it, friends. But for now, here's Alanis Morissette, because we got to play more pussy songs here. Here it is. It's You Oughta Know, right here on the home of rock and roll. K-Fucked.
It's like, hey, that's Van Halen doing a cover of the Kinks. You Really Got Me. Speaking of the Kinks, I understand that Ray Davies and his brother have made up, and there's going to be a full-on Kinks reunion.
Yeah. And now back to more music. Here's one we haven't heard in a while. It's The Joker from Steve Miller Band.
Hey now, as you know, Steve Miller Band was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this week. So what better way to celebrate that than the Joker? Here's the Joker himself, Steve Miller.
That's right. No hocus pocus going on here. It's Steve Miller. It's Abracadabra right here on your Magic 103.
Terrible.
Fucking radio stinks.
I couldn't imagine being excited about going into the classic rock station and cutting those lines.
God, I used to fucking... Dude, we used to have these meetings all the time at 92.3, at least once a quarter. And we would go over this bullshit. Literally, someone would get up in front and say, well, this is how you got to introduce a song. And they had all these dumb stats, and you got to hit the post, and you can't talk more than 30 seconds or else you lose the crowd. And if you're going into a commercial, you can never speak of the commercial. You just have to let it go cold.
And you can't say anything. Now it's time to pay the bills because you're giving everybody a cue to tune out.
Yeah, you got to say, hey, check this out, click. And then it goes into fucking, hey, it's Bill from Tom Brady Ford or whatever.
Right.
You know.
You can't say, and now a message from our sponsors.
Oh.
Don't say that.
No. You got to make them think you're playing a song so that they listen for thinking it's like some stupid intro. And then next thing they know, they're like, fuck, they fucked me with that fucking tire commercial.
They get me every time. I looked at the clock. It was 10 minutes after 10. They always play Van Halen Panama at this time.
God damn it. Why I got to listen to this fucking commercial when it's mandatory Metallica time.
Right.
Jesus. It sucks.
96.9 WONE. It's time to get the lead out. Here it is. This is Communication Breakdown.
And when we come back after these words, it'll be more lead for your head.
Right. Hey, it's September, and you know what that means.
Yeah, September. That means 2 songs back-to-back from Led Zeppelin. Here it is. It's All of Your Love, followed by the Immigrant Song, because we're going to get crazy over here.
As we're closing out September, we're going into Rocktober.
Yeah, we used to be K-Rock, now we're K-Led. Here's some lead for your head.
Right.
Ugh. So bad. And there you go, Zepp in your step.
Right. This will put a little Zepp in your step, a rarely played one that's formerly unreleased from the 4-CD box set from 1989. It's Led Zeppelin with Traveling Riverside Blues.
Never do that. They'd be like, here's one we haven't heard in a while. It's Stairway to Heaven.
Now, reaching back in the vaults.
Yeah, reaching back in the vault. Play a fucking sound effect of a fucking...
a creaky door opening.
Yeah.
I'm reaching back in the vault.
Look what we found in here. It's Led Zeppelin 2. Fucking garbage.
And at number 10, this one actually surprised me.
Okay.
Because I got to be honest with you, I did not think of this as being played a lot. I mean, obviously I've heard this, but not played so much to where they go, oh, we've heard that way too much.
Okay.
Rolling Stones, Sympathy for the Devil.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been the one I would have thought of.
Mm-mm. I would have said like Start Me Up or Brown Sugar or something like that.
Yeah.
Satisfaction, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Start Me Up, too. Jesus God. Start of everybody's. Dude, that was my first radio show ever. That was my opening song. Because I was real original when I was 15.
Start Me Up.
Start Me Up. Hey, it's the Chris Aiken Show.
Right.
Of course, with me voicing my own voice. Hey, it's the Chris Aiken Show. And here's your guest, Chris Aiken.
Right.
Hey, what's up?
Sympathy for the Devil is a dynamic album track and a seismic songwriting leap forward for the Stones, but the impact of the song Chronicles of Evil has been dulled over the years due to over-air play.
So?
Really? People are saying, man, you know what? That song used to be so evil, but I heard it so many times that the evil is kind of like worn out.
It's less evil now.
It's less evil now. I'm not scared when it comes on my radio. I used to get, I used to shit myself when that came on. Oh, my God, they're singing about the devil.
Thank God I've heard it enough times to not be scared anymore.
Right.
I got to admit, I'm not a huge Stones fan, and I'll take that song over most of their hits.
Yeah, I personally, I like that song, but, I don't think of that as an overplayed hit.
Steve Jackson hit the one that I can't stand, Paint It Black. Ugh.
Increase airplay for Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Oh!
That would have been the one I'd pull.
Yeah, I pulled that out all together. That and Angie and fucking Satisfaction.
Yeah. Tumblin' Dice.
How'd that go?
I don't know it off the top of my head.
Tumblin' Dice?
Tumblin' Dice or Street Fightin' Man.
That one I know. Tumblin' Dice. Let's see what that's about. What the fuck? Rolling Stones. I don't know that song. Maybe. I bet I do. Oh, yeah. You know that one, right?
Mm-hmm, I do.
Baby, me can't sing for shit. Yeah, I know the song. Not a fan, but okay.
So that's your top songs that should be pulled out of airplay.
All right. Well, I don't disagree with their. I don't disagree with their song choices, but I think there's a lot more songs that should be pulled before some of the ones they listed.
I agree.
I would think Tom Sawyer has to come out before a fucking Journey.
Yeah.
So, I mean, jeez. You know, is there a band, like for me, Rush can do pretty much no right. I don't hate them, but I don't like them either, you know? And every time they come on the radio, I turn them off immediately. Do you have a band like that that's like popular, but you just can't stomach them?
Well, you know, it's been so long since I've listened to the radio that I can't really say, because ever since I had XM in the car,
right,
and then I moved to the you know, to the phone,
right,
I haven't listened to radio in literally years.
right. I mean, do you like the Stones enough that if
They're okay. I mean, I'm not an anti-Stones person.
the Who or something?
I like the Who. But the thing is, I don't listen to classic rock stations.
Yeah.
I just don't listen to radio anymore.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's part. You know, guys like you and me, we have 10 billion songs. There's no fucking reason to.
You know, and with podcasts, I just listen to podcasts and Spotify.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
That's all you need. I just wish Spotify would catch up there. I'm constantly finding albums that I wish they had and they don't have. You know, and I know it's because I listen to like fucking crazy deep tracks. You know, and some of the stuff is like, you know, like the other day I had Spotify on in the car, and I was dicking around trying to get Iron Maiden Rock in Rio, and it's not in Spotify. And I was shocked that that wasn't in Spotify, because it's not even an old record. You know, it's fairly new.
Well, were you also horrified?
I was horrified. I was outraged, really. I called Michael Abatista up, and I said, dude, fix this shit.
Right.
The fuck? You better fix my free shit.
You're cutting into my listening pleasure.
Yeah. You want me to talk good about your shit? You
Right.
better fucking fix it, pal.
Sure.
Yeah. The worst part, you know what's the worst, and you do not have this experience, but I share my Spotify with my son.
Okay.
My son, Zach.
Sure.
And because really we're kind of, for the most part, we're not in a position where we can use it at the same time. And for me, most of the time I'm listening to my own stuff.
Right.
You know, so he listens to Spotify more than me, and I don't want to, you know, I appreciate the sub, and I don't want it to be wasted, so I let him use it.
Mm-hmm.
But man, if you're listening to something and then they tune in from somewhere else, their fucking music starts playing on your device. So and my son listens to some real faggy stuff sometimes.
Some faggy stuff.
Because he listens to like fucking, what is it, Ninja Sex Party and fucking, you know, some kind of weirdo shit.
Sure.
So I'm listening. The other day I was listening to whatever I was listening to, Dockin' or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm rocking out, and all of a sudden the fucking outfield comes on. Josie's on a vacation. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, come on, man. And I yelled out to him, like, what the fuck are you doing?
You're killing me over here.
I know. I was like, stop it. I'm
Sure.
trying to use this.
Sure. All right. Well, I need to get a drink.
Yeah, me too.
Since we're talking about the Rolling Stones, let's play something that's Rolling Stones related, but classic metal.
Come on, let's do some Angie. Angie!
Nah.
Angie!
Just thought I'd do some Lynch Mob.
All right.
Street Fighting Man.
Follow up with some Guns N' Roses, Sympathy.
We could do that.
There we go.
All right.
Go Stones for this round.
All right. Well, you're listening to WCMS.
Yeah.
These guys did a great cover of the Rolling Stones classic Street Fighting Man. Of course, I'm talking about that legendary guitarist, George Lynch. Of course, George and the rest of the guys from his former band, Doc, and there's a talk about a reunion, and we'll keep you posted right here. Just keep it tuned in. Keep your dial locked.
Yeah, we're here at K-Cunt, K-U-N-T.
Yeah, where we put the cunt back in the country.
That's right.
Okay. It's
Here's a staple for you.
right here on WCMS. It's the Lynch Mob with Street Fighting Man.